It's not. Audio is live. Testing. The audio, is it good? Okay, cool. We're going mute again. Testing audio. Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Double checking. No? Okay. Test 1, 2, 3. We're on our audio check may have failed.
Give us a second. Audio check. Technical problem.
If we have to remind us during your streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're good on this one now. Yeah, we're trying to get the audio online. That's where our
I don't hear. This is gross. I'm not playing this game.
Say something.
Audio check 1, 2, 3. Do you need a microphone?
I've got audio online.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the only thing we can do is start a new stream, so it'll take a couple of minutes.
He says you do have audio online?
Okay.
You do?
Yep, we're good.
You got? Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yep, yep.
All right, we're good. Let's go.
Okay, solved.
Guess we're good.
I guess.
Okay.
Just not play.
Leadership, sure. I would.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Can you?
There you go.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Really excited to see the joint presentation regarding the insurance plan. What I would like to do to start, we have some new SJEA team members. I want to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, if you guys are okay with that. Just let them kind of go around if you want.
Parker Raymond, Human Resources. Edie Snodgrass, Finance. Nikki Applegate, Principal. Jay William, HR. Dawn Sapp, Academics. Jessica Richardson, Senior Director for ESE.
Brian McElroy, Early Childhood Services.
Ryan Blair, HR. Don Hessler, Principal, Magnolia Oaks.
Patrick Snodgrass, Director of Purchasing.
Wayne King, HR, for another week.
Awesome. Okay, so again, I'm looking forward to this. I don't know, Jesse, what you do, you have any team members or anything?
I got it. I'm just gonna point out, we got Paul Davis on the stream, our team, and down here, he's from virtual school.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, Mr. King to introduce, Jay Wynn, our plan administrator, kind of walk us through, but today's presentation, we're going to look at the plan, premium review, and insurance committee recommendations. So, King.
So Jay, with members of the committee, will go through the product of several meetings that the insurance committee had, as is contracted or as is in our agreements, the members from both sides. Some of it's a follow-up or a reaction to last year's sessions, and then with the changing market in there. So they'll go through a series of meetings that we had, and then the recommendation, the joint recommendation that we come up with. So, Jay. Okay.
Thank you. Like you said, I'm Jay from HR, but I do hold the position of chairperson for your insurance committee. If you can slide up. And then Kelly Abertinozzi is one of our long-term, if not longest term members. She's on the committee, very knowledgeable, and all of our committee members. Yeah, this is a list of your representation from both bargaining units and AMC. Mr. Coleman is our chair. He is our board member that supports the committee. So today we're gonna go through, you can slide another one. There's our mission statement, basically to summarize. The purpose of the insurance committee is to meet and analyze all of the data and make decisions that keep our plan healthy and also affordable for all of our members, our 6,000 plus employees and our almost 10,000 people that are covered under our benefit plan. So I think it's important, and this may be repetitive, but to go over what a self-funded medical plan is. Yeah. So basically, what that means is we as a district, we bear the risk of our insurance plan. Yes, we pay Florida Blue to process our claims, but we are responsible for the money coming into the plan and paying all of those claims that are incurred due to our member utilization. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over. We're gonna start with the finances, and Kelly is very knowledgeable about this. She has taken us to school many of meetings when it comes to our finances.
Great. Thank you, Jay. Just a couple of things to point out that Jay already talked about. The membership of our team, I guess Mr. King's only going to be on it for one more week, but you will notice that we have 9 voting members, and 6 of the voting members are representatives of SJEA and SJEA. So when we look at things, it's not we versus them, it's really us, because everybody that's on the committee is impacted by the plan. So without boring you with all the specifics of the financials here, this is a chart that we use at each meeting. This one is from March 2024. And it talks about, the top part talks about the income that we get. So that's from the premiums from the board, premiums from the employees, rebates, COBRA payments, and things like that. And then on the bottom, it's our expenses, what we pay Blue Cross Blue Shield to be our third-party administrator, which we also benefit because of their pre-negotiated rates with hospitals and physicians. And so that's where we, thank you for blowing that, but that's okay. I'm really going to skim over it. So, but anyway, so it shows what we're taking in, what's going out. Basically, we're driven, our premiums need to be driven by our claims experience. So this is just data that we look at to make some determinations. All right, so if you would go to the next one, Emmy, this is the next slide. Thank you. All right, so this is really the summary of that big piece of paper that shows all the specifics where the money's coming in and where it's going out. And on this page, at the very bottom, if you scroll up any, it will give you an analysis of our net position. Okay, so this is the one that I like to look at because it gives me the most data. So here in 2024, you'll see that our net position is $54,081,537. That is also reflected on that larger spreadsheet at the bottom with the ending net position. And we have it kind of designated out for our 60-day claims reserve, which is required by law. Another additional 5%, and then that large number at the bottom is unrestricted. So we are self-insured, which means that we bear the brunt of all the claims, and it can be volatile at times, so it's good to have a cushion. In 2024, that net position, that bottom number, also equaled about a 300-day run out. So the run out would be if for some reason we decide we're not going to be self-insured anymore, that's how many days of claims that we have to run out the plan based upon what we have mathematically figured is what the daily rate of claims are. So if you would go to the next slide, please. And again, it's the same report, just showing our position in 2025, and then moving to the next page, the summary, which is a lot easier to read. Sorry. okay? And at the bottom, so this is a year later, this is March 2025. Our net position was $48,949,670, which is a decrease in about $5.1 million in just a 1 year period of time. Okay? That equates to 272 days of run out. All right, and the next one, please. Again, and you can kind of skip this one. Again, it's the same thing. If anybody ever wants to sit and read all the details, you certainly can. It compares year to year and shows where the money comes from. But this is our latest from our last insurance meeting. It is our current net position, which is $37,013,390. That is down $11.9 million in 1 year from the preceding March. Okay? So from 2024 to 2026, our plan has utilized $17 million plus more dollars than we have been collecting. So we've actually been balancing the plan by utilizing what we've had in the net position, okay? All right, I'll add that color later. But I actually went back to 2023 as well. Those numbers are a little bit different because in that year, we had 2 major events that occurred to the insurance plans. We did have an abundance of unrestricted or net balance in there. That was the year that the insurance plan gave back the close to $5 million back to the school board to put in the general fund. That money had been transferred over, I believe, in like 2011, because we had a shortfall in the plan, and that was the last time that we really had to make some major changes into the plan to make sure that our premiums collected reflected our claims experience. Okay. Also, that was the same year that we negotiated that we would have a premium holiday, which also resulted in about a $6 million deficit for 1 month. But still, from 2023, even backing that out, from 2023 to 2024, we also took a $2.7 million hit. So we're almost up to $20 million from 23 to 26. And so that's what we're here to look at and give you some recommendations on how we think we should proceed. So, Jay?
You can go to the next slide.
Jay, how many days to run out? Are we running on 2026?
22 days. Okay, so that is. All right, so we're to 205 days. So we had in 2024, 300 days of run out. That's including the 5% and the 60-day run out, Jesse. And then 2025, 272. Now we're to 205, and we're not finished. So this is from the May meeting. So this is the March financials. We're going to be on the existing plan until December because even though we run on a fiscal year, the plan runs on a calendar year. So the plan design that we have now, plus the premiums that we are collecting now, will be running through to December. And we are seeing a trend, a downward trend.
So basically, this slide illustrates what Kelly has been saying, and just to be clear, the light blue line is showing what the claims are starting at, I think this is 22, 23, and on up to as of March of this year. So that blue line represents what the claims cost us for the year, and the dark blue line reflects the employee contributions. To be clear, that does not reflect the fund balance or the contribution. I just want that to be clear. But what it does is still a gap. You see that there's a large gap between what we're bringing in versus what we're paying out, which is why you see that fund balance depleting, like Kelly had just mentioned. And you can go to the next one. So when we met last year, we recommended some plan design changes to help with our renewal, because the renewal was going to be unaffordable, like largely unaffordable for most of us. So we did just make some plan design changes that we presented last year. And this year, we basically started with those same design plan changes that we presented last year and increased a little bit more. So it's a little bit more aggressive than what you saw last year. So what I'm gonna do is try to point out the changes, and I have a cheat sheet that's colored because it's kind of hard to follow those lines. All right, so we're gonna start. So the dark blue on the left is our current plan, and then all the way on the right in the light blue is what we're recommending the changes, and all of those red lines are the changes. So where you see red, that indicates that it's being changed. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna do hospital 1 to hospital 1, and then I'll go back and do hospital 2 to hospital 2 to show what changes are happening there. So the first line, the deductible. Currently, it's a $1,000 deductible for hospital 1. And then the proposal would be to move that up to a $5,000 deductible for the base plan, hospital 1. No changes to your 80/20 co-insurance, but the next line is your physician services. Currently, it's a $30 copay if you're seeing a physician. That actually is a decrease. It will go down to $10 per visit. However, a specialist visit is currently $60. That will actually increase to $100 per visit. Right beneath that is your independent diagnostic, your lab work, your x-rays, your AIS is advanced imaging. That right now is a $30 copay on hospital 1. That will change to a deductible and co-insurance. No change to outpatient surgery, but emergency room services now has a $100 copay and is subject to your deductible and co-insurance. The increase there would be to move that copay to $250, still responsible for calendar year deductible and 20%. Right underneath that is urgent care, that will go from $30 visit to $75 visit. Your RX deductible currently on plan 1 is $200. That will increase to $300. Generic medications are currently $20. They will remain at $20. Your brand name would move from $35 to $70, and non-preferred meaning you elect to purchase a brand when there is a generic available. That would increase from $55 to $110. And these are after that $300 deductible. Your out-of-pocket max increases from $5,000 to $7,900. So that's your major changes for hospital 1. So then we go up to the hospital 2, which is your buyout plan. You'll see some significant changes there. So again, the first dark blue to the lightest blue all the way to the right. Your current deductible is $300. If you're on that plan, that will increase to $2,000. No changes to your co-insurance, it remains 80/20. Then physician services would go from 30 to 10, just like the other, but specialty would go from 50 to 75. Independent diagnostic labs and x-rays would go from a $30 copay to now a $50 copay for labs, and then the other imaging would be subject to deductible and co-insurance. Skip down to emergency room services, where it was just like plan 1, $100 deductible, $100 copay, deductible and co-insurance. It will increase to $200 copay, deductible and co-insurance. Urgent care services would go from 30 to 60. There's still no RX deductible. However, your generic would go from 15 down to 10 for generic medication, from 30 to 50 for brand name, and then from 50 to 80 for a non-preferred brand. And then your out-of-pocket increase would go from 5,000 to 6,350. Are there any questions before I move on to the next?
Just want to clarify, the in red numbers are not the numbers we saw in the department last year.
Some of them are, but none, some are not.
Okay.
But they're all different from what you currently are experiencing. Alright, so with those changes, this is the goal, is to make the plan more affordable. This is why we had to make some of those plan changes that we designed last year. However, we didn't get the plan design changes in time, so we weren't able to do that. We did increase the premium slightly, but that renewal, had we made no changes, they were basically saying it was going to be a 41% increase. So to keep what we currently have would cost the plan 41% more, almost 42% more. So with the plan design changes that we're recommending, that brings our renewal to a 23, almost 24% increase. So it'll save us about $10 million by making these changes. You can go to the next one. So what you really want to know is, what does that look like in everyone's paycheck? So I'm going to go, since we're only making changes to the medical, the sheet is much smaller than you've seen in previous years. And then I'll go from hospital 1, single and family, down to the bio. So this is also different than we've done in years past, where typically when we do an increase, we increase both by the same or nearly the same. This year, they're significantly different. So you'll see a significant increase to Plan 2, which is your bio plan. And the nature of a bio plan means the district contributes the same as it would if you were on the base plan. But if you elect the bio plan, you're responsible for the difference. The increase to the base plan is about 10%, and the increase to the bio plan is 27, almost 28%. So you'll see that reflected here when I go over the rates. So the first box all the way on the left, where EE means employee, we're just gonna follow that line, first two. We'll start right to the left next to the yellow where it says EE, and then it's $70.93. So right now you're on Plan 1 and you're only planning for yourself. What's coming out of the paycheck is $70.93. The proposal will change that amount to $77.37. So you'll see an increase of $6.44 for Plan 1 single. Beneath that, oh, and for reference, that's about $122 a year more after paycheck for Plan 1 single coverage. Right beneath that, we're going to start over on the left like we did before. Currently, for a family on Plan 1, out of an employee's paycheck, it's $298. With the projected change, it will increase to $323. That's a difference of about $25 per paycheck. Or annually, oh, I don't know, I don't think I calculated it annually, but it would be 25 times 19. There you go, 485 right now. Yes, I have a Mr. chart all the way over, thank you. All right, let's go back, so we can now talk about Plan 2, your bio plan. So we're gonna start at all the way on the left, we're right there, Hospital 1, Hospital 2, your bio plan. Currently, single rate is $96.51 per paycheck. That's going to increase to $185.89 per paycheck. That's an increase of $89 per check. For family, I'm gonna start over. Currently, it's $398.12. That will increase to $631.77. And that's an increase of over $200, about $234 per paycheck for family hospital to the buyout plan. And so annually, that's about $4,400 for that buyout plan. So any questions there? Again, that is very different than what we've ever presented in the past, but we feel like the insurance committee's recommendation, we feel like it's in the best interest of the plan and the employees.
So when we did the buyout plan years ago, when we had to make plan changes, the whole intent was that the buyout plan was going to be offered, but the cost was going to be incurred. Part of the problem in our funding loss has been that we have not been keeping up with the premiums, the cost of that buyout plan as compared to the claims experience. So when you're in that buyout plan, it usually does cost more. And so we felt like the buyout plan has to actually reflect the claims experience cost. And that's why we as a committee, unanimously, 9 of us, and 6 of us sit on SJEA, SJEA or SJEA, decided that the buyout plan needs to be an actual buyout plan. But of course, we will do open enrollment. You always have an option to switch from the buyout plan to the other plan, and it will have to be an individual decision. But that's why you see the larger rate increase. The board has always consistently given the same amount to both plans, as this was an optional buyout plan that we've been presenting.
All right, so what happens next is very important because the goal is to make these plan design changes and premium increases effective January 1 of 2027.
Jay, could I ask you a question? I think I see the increases, the annual increases. What is the highlighted proposed option 3 number in front? Yeah, the highlight stuff. What are those numbers?
That's your current.
I think that's the total, that's it, I may be wrong.
Okay.
I think that's the total price of the board and
It does look like that, but a monthly rate, but we don't do monthly. We do 19 deductions.
Got it. Okay. All right.
yeah, sometimes it gets wonky because we talk in months, but we don't even do it by month, we do it in 19 checks, so.
Industry talks in months, the district talks in deductions, 19 deductions.
All right, so,
So the, anyone,
Jeff, actually, can you go back one slide? I want to see this. Sorry. It's the last one here. So this shows you the total increase and what it's going to actually cost the employees based upon the current registration and which plan design you've chosen. And it shows what we will pay, what the board pays, and then this number in red, okay, even with the premium increases and the design plan changes, we expect there to still be a $2.7 million deficit to the plan, which will come out of the net fund balance that we talked about earlier. That equates to another 15 days off of the run out. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out as well. So the plan itself is also in conjunction with the school board's contribution and the employee's contribution. The plan is also contributing $2.7 million.
timeline. So in order for these changes to go into effect on January 1, we need to have a decision made July would be optimal for Florida Blue to start doing what they need to do on the back end. Because they require 90 to 120 days to make these changes in their system. We need to start getting ready for open enrollment in October. So that means we're starting to do our booklets, our electronic and our paper documentation, communications, because these need to be ready in September so we can start advertising. So in October, as people are making their changes, making the changes based on what we've decided for the next year. So timeline is very important. If we miss the timeline like we did last year, we can't make the changes, which means the fund is going to go into even deeper deficit. Or the fund balance will be depleted even more. But that is the goal. So as a reminder, with your paid medical premiums comes these benefits that you don't pay additional for. Canna RX, for those of you who may be unaware, this is a brand name drug mail order system where people can get their prescriptions, certain ones, not every prescription, but there are certain ones that are at no cost to you employees. You have that benefit. If you're part of our medical plan, you have this benefit, you have access to this benefit. Lots of people, once they know about it, they use it continually. So it saves members a lot of money. Also, Marathon Health, there's no co-pays, there's nothing. So a lot of those things where you saw those increases in co-pays in your RX, lab, those things can be taken care of at Marathon for the most part. Again, not 100%, but your basic care, some urgent care, generic medications that they prescribe, their lab work, x-rays at 2 of the centers, those are covered at no cost to you. And then Teladoc, who we've had in place for some time now, is virtual care. If you can't get into Marathon or your regular doctor, this is also an option. It's not quite free, but it's a $25 visit if you need to utilize that service. So I always just want to remind people of the options that are out there. So lastly, our recommendation is to adopt plan pre-design that I went over, the premium increases. And that, again, I mentioned earlier, that saves us $10.7 million by making those changes in premium increases versus a straight renewal, meaning we did nothing. The implementation timeline, again, once I went over, we need to have our communications in place in September so that we're ready for open enrollment in October. And those rates would be effective January 1, 2027. You probably see those coming out of paychecks in November. And then obviously, once we get past this step, it will need board approval. So anybody have any basic questions for Kelly or myself or any insurance committee? Kelly, do you want enough last words?
All right, just a couple of things to recap, all right? We do have a timeline going on. I know the design plan changes are very different, but they go hand in hand with the premium increases. So if for some reason we can't meet the deadline, please do not be surprised if the premium increases are different and not the ones proposed, because we are self-funded. So we need to make sure that our premiums match our actual claims experience. So just understand that we can't take one plan and do a different premium, because these premiums were based upon the plan design changes. Also, the slide before this, when we talked about the health centers and Teladoc and CanRx, basically the health centers. So our health centers have saved our employees lots of money, and they've also saved the plan a lot of money by helping people stay healthy. There are no costs to the employee. If you utilize those, you can save yourself a lot of money. You're not even hitting those deductibles. We were fortunate enough to be able to add physical therapy, which if anybody has ever had physical therapy before, it's an automatic $50, $60 copay every time you go. But through the health centers, it is free to the employee. When you see that we have the net fund balance, understand that that gives us some flexibility to expand those things. So it's not only just a run out. We're never going to use that money if we're short on run out. But that money is already in the plan, and we want to use that to enhance the experience of all the employees so that we're a healthier workforce and healthier colleagues and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that the premium increase goes with the plan design changes, all right? It's not, you get to pick our current plan and not expect the actual increases, so that's it. Does anybody have a question? Jessica?
We have GLP-1 July 1st. We don't know if that's how big an effect. We have a prediction how big an effect that's gonna have.
We have a prediction, I think it's like, what, 2 million? Something like that. Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't answer that. But again, we haven't experienced that, Jesse, so this is the data that you saw, and I'm sure if you go back to that one spreadsheet where it talks about pharmacy, okay, you'll see the rise of the pharmacy, but that was from our May meeting, that's the March financials. So that's going to impact us through June and maybe July, because there may be some pending pharmacy that doesn't hit the spreadsheet until actually July. So we're hoping that will make a difference. I feel like we baked that into the plan design changes. Yeah, because when we sit there at those committee meetings, like we're all sitting there, like we approve the financials and we're like holding our nose because they are what they are. We don't like them, but that is our actual claims experience. So we tried to make the minimal changes to the plan design that we could. Yes, they are different than the ones we proposed last year, but because those didn't go through, now we have the current plan design, it has to run out 12 months. And it takes a long time to make these changes, which is why I know we only by law have to have 60-day run out. But I don't like it getting below 180. That's when I start getting nervous because it takes a long time to right the ship once it starts sinking. One of my favorite insurance meetings was when we decided we were going to do the physical therapy. Wayne King was new to the committee. He was so excited. He's like, yep, let's do it. We'll get it going. But a month or two, I laughed at him. I said, Wayne, we'll see this in 2 years. Wayne, it took 2 years, right?
No, it took 16 months.
16 months, okay, 16 months, well, 2 years basically, so from the time we decided. So it's good because we take we take the brunt of the risk. Now, the other thing is, last time we ended up with the Office of Insurance Regulations. They can decertify us. Then our only option is we go full plan, Blue Cross Blue Shield. They are a for-profit company. They are going to make a profit off of us. And that 40% on our current plan, according to the Bailey Group, you can expect to add another 30% onto that. So we want to stay self-funded. A lot of counties are becoming self-funded. Hillsborough County has been coming to our insurance meetings now because they are going self-funded. So I think we're better off managing our own insurance than trying to, defund our own plan. So the data is what the data is. Again, I don't like it. I wish everyone was healthy and we were getting health rebates back to people, but this is where we are at this time.
Can we get a bid from this going to Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
I'm sure we could. I'm sure the Bailey Group. The reason why they said it was 30% because I don't know if it was Clay County, the schools, or Clay County, the county. But they asked for that, and the minute the Bailey Group gave them what the cost was, they were like, oh, no, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. do we communicate with outside insurance companies? Or do we communicate with them directly from us to them? Are they like a liaison we're required to have?
They are provided here in the contract now. Okay. That contract was bid and renewed 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yes.
How often do you bid for that? How much longer is left of the Bailey Group? Every 3 years?
I'll have to look that up. All right, we'll go up for additional.
What's the question?
Years.
As long as the contract was bid.
Last time we did, well, we did 3 years. I think it's,
It's maybe just 3.
yeah, I think it is coming up. It's not on here. We're renewing with Florida Blue in December. Doesn't have to be able to in here, but we do put it out to bid, and I want to say it's the only people that.
The last time, what we were told was that they were the only ones who responded to our.
The Bailey Group were the only ones responding?
That's accurate.
Sorry.
I want to thank Jay and Kelly, that's great. We, sitting here, our recommendation would be to move forward with the insurance committee's recommendation. And Mr. King and I do have MOUs regarding that. I don't know if you guys want more discussion related to that. I do want them to be sensitive to timeline, speaking in favor of it.
I think knee-jerk reactions here. My first reaction is that a 500% increase in the deductible seems a little extreme all at one time. And especially since it's a 250% increase from what was proposed at the end of the last bargaining. So just comparing what was proposed last time versus the increase now makes it seem like we've entered a, you know how black hole works, where the closer you get to the edge of it, the more you get stretched out, the worse it becomes. This looks like a hole that's going to be real hard to climb back out of if we have all of a sudden do and a large premium increase last year made up a raise for some people, followed with a premium increase that looks like it's going to be $4,000 a year for a proportion of our people, and also 500% worse deductible, all at one time seems like a lot. That seems like spaghettification is the problem. But we'll take a look at it. I do think we have to look at the
Exactly. So the $4,000 increase is for a plan.
Yes.
So I think the team mentioned the open enrollment, right? So, and I think Ms. Nosey mentioned the plan, the premium would actually be paid for what you're getting on the plan, which I'm still being on, right? So it is a stark comparison in terms of the two options. And then compared it to last year, premium increases, or what didn't happen last year was the plan design change. So that's,
I
get that black hole thing.
I'm on the
More like
same
that.
Yeah. When I'm looking at the problem, I'm trying to look at the worst possible option, right? I represent all people, right? And in that group, there's going to be a percentage. Do we know, just shouting out to everybody, do you know how many people switched plans last year off of the bio plan onto the rental plan? By chance?
We do, it was not significant.
Okay.
It wasn't significant because the plan design changed.
But they did play that higher
So
premium.
we would anticipate it may be more significant this year.
I would say $4,000 probably would be a few people to drop off. We have case compensation together with insurance to making decisions about whether or not to do that. So we have to hold them together pretty fast and we meet the deadlines that the insurance folks would like to have. Just want to say that. Other than that, I think I've covered everything I've covered.
So let me, just two things with regards to that. So I appreciate your black hole piece, but I would say it the other way. Inaction, I think it's going to create a worst case scenario.
Oh, great, yes.
Just want to be clear about that.
Paul, could you use the microphone?
I'm sorry.
It's on, but like, listen to you.
So I referenced just to Jesse's black hole analogy. I would look at it the other way and reference that any inaction is going to create a worst case scenario. And I think it's was clearly represented by the individuals who presented today. With regards to the compensation piece, and on our team side, we've been having discussions related to that. Bethany and I have shared dates back and forth. I would like to get a meeting set. It looks like on our side, June 25th. And I think there's an opportunity to start having some conversations regarding compensation and all of those components. So again, I said this earlier, I don't want to sprint through making decisions. I respect the fact I get the knee-jerk terms and so forth, but I do want us to be as timely as possible. So again, we can meet on the 25th. We're going to be prepared to pass back some items that initially came forth in our last meeting on the 25th. We do have to secure a venue. That's kind of what we will be discussing.
If I could.
Sure.
I got two things. So we need to consider both support and instructional. So because if we can't go forward unless both groups come to insurance, so we're gonna have to talk about both.
Yep.
So we don't, SJEA and SJEA do not want to be at the same table at the same time. So please, we need to think about that with our schedule.
Sure. And those dates you sent me reflect the availability of both teams?
They're not.
Okay.
Because that was for TSA money, which is applied, but I can get that.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Get me those dates. And again, I don't want to, it's not me pushing that we're going to sprint, but we do need to be sensitive to timelines with regards to all of this. Because again, I think sitting on this is going to put us in a worst case scenario, referencing the insurance piece.
Okay.
No, just that the body of work that committee does, I mean, to come up with the best plan. So it's not like they will say, what's the worst case scenario? I mean, it is the best. And also in terms of trying, you've asked us questions about the run out days and the number, to keep it financially, we have to have health insurance.
I want to be clear. I believe everything you said there was a result of really good work on the part of the committee and everybody on it. I think it's really great. There's bad numbers. And we have to find out what we can do about that.
But there are options.
We got 3,500 voters out there we have to convince to agree to whatever we come with. If we come with the best plan in the world to stay local, but if they don't vote for it, then we're in trouble. And we're going to the same problem as last year. We have time to get votes, so we get on in time to get the plan changed. And that's where it's really going to come down to.
But our joint job is to communicate that this is the best possible plan.
I agree with that.
We can pass.
Yep. You want to choose it.
Do you want me to pass it around?
Many companies
Yeah.
first. There's a just suggestion.
Yeah, Jesse, you have just SJEA.
Yeah, it's just the insurance, yeah.
One of the seconds.
You-
No, I should be getting it. Just take that trip. Okay.
you know, we can get to those dates.
So just, I think what your team would have then is, the MOU that we talked about, that we agreed to what was presented, back 2 pages in there, really a synopsis, a summary of what we would normally do today on, reference to the review process. Then on the SJEA side, obviously it's in vacancy other than the wording in the room. So again, to Mr. Atano's point, we're trying to get ahead of it. Obviously, we're also then in planning with the compensation side. So we agree that there's a connection between, but the emphasis to do this is important too. So
I agree. I understand the severity of the situation.
So with regards to the 25th date, we're going to try and secure a venue. I will send that to you, and I was looking at, a couple sites, understanding you guys are still good at AM meetings. Okay, so that's for SJEA, as soon as we get those dates, we'll send them to you with the suggestion side and stuff.
Possible, and I want to speak with the team, but it may be possible to do like not joint meetings, but one in another game.
That's perfect, that's perfect. Again, I don't want to have the appearance of something, but it wants to be sensitive to timelines, and I agree with you, Kim, the this, the better. I recommend, we know you've dropped MOUs with regards to some things that, you dropped some stuff for us. You want to pass those? Sure. We'll take opportunities to review, but I think we can bring all that back on the
Okay, I figured out my case.
Bethany, do you have access to that folder to drop?
I don't.
You can, because of the, don't have a district email.
I don't have a district email.
Okay. So I'll send that. If you have things that you want to drop, I just want to make sure.
Yes, and we're prepared for the language. We're prepared to pass language. We're not prepared today.
No, I got
Bring
that.
it with me
All
today,
copies
but
for you.
We'll
I've
be
got
able to bring language
separate.
with the
I'll give you a bunch of copies.
at our next meeting.
This one's real simple. It is the PLC and CET mentor supplements. We have made no change, because some of us are still waiting. They don't have them, so we'll see how it all works out in the end. So no changes on that one in that regard. And then and the rest are for y'all. This is the FCTC dual enrollment supplement. We made no change to this compared to last year. Again, we're just waiting for this one to get paid out and some data on it. And then we will, review it after that time. That's this. We're looking at the new teacher cadre supplement. That is exactly the same. As I said, exactly the same. Please, of course, review it, make sure it's something. I try to make all the things correct. If something's wrong, let me know. The new teacher cadre many changes to that. Still waiting to pay down that one too for some people. This is the regular old dual enrollment supplement handed out right there. No changes to regular dual enrollment supplement. In that regard, good. That. Me. Gaines Alternative School and Evelyn Handling Center, we did make a change to this. It goes in the second paragraph. It says a maximum of $3,750 of incentive will be paid to instructional personnel / curriculum coaches / service providers assigned to Gaines. The reason we made this change is we've become aware there's a couple of people who are full-time workers over at Gaines, where a vast majority of the work is at Gaines, behavior specialists, speech language pathologist. I'm sure there's another one I don't know about. There's probably 2 or 3 people over there who are putting a lot of work in with that specific clientele who are probably deserving of this, and we'd like to make sure that people are also receiving the supplement incentive to be stationed at Gaines or the Evelyn Handling Center.
And we haven't honored that in the past.
Well, our understanding is that they're not receiving it. Feel free to double check that. That is the only change, no monetary change there.
Thank you.
Paid paternity leave. The only change here we want to make is we'd like to increase it from 5 days of paid paternity leave to 15 days of paid paternity leave. And the goal, I think, of this MOU to make an incremental increase on it until we get to a a nice amount of days off for a person who's had a child to take care of that baby. And what we've done is actually ridiculous. Questions on paid paternity leave?
Anything, Patrick, Wayne?
So you asked for information relative to that?
Yes, we did get some feedback.
Have you cost it out about 15 days?
We figured about 3 times what that number was, if I remember off my head.
It was
43,000.
Yeah.
So it'd be about
Little-
150.
Yeah, I figured 150 sounds about right.
Of course, it's impossible that, the people that had babies last year are probably not gonna be the same.
More.
I got one more.
Good for them. Adoption.
Okay.
That's great.
So I don't know why it's color coordinated differently, but this is, it does look more fancy. This is a new MOU. I'm gonna go ahead and read this out. Actually, I'm just gonna summarize, there's a lot of words. Long story short is we have a person in SJEA who has been, picked up a job or position where they are a full-time release person being paid for by the union itself to go out and do member organizing, do union work, and we need a release of that employee in order for them to go do it for the year. This has already been talked about and worked out with people that are involved with it. This is really so they go get paid by the union to do union work, functioning in essentially the same way the union president does. So that's where it goes. Anybody need anything explained here? Also read that. Thank you.
We would hope for this one to be signed today, so we can, well, and so this will. Yes, everybody.
Sign it.
That was our thought as
She's
well.
here.
Okay.
Go back to the PowerPoint,
Okay,
please.
you want to pick them up? Yeah, I think we want to be able to.
I'm gonna sign the first one, someone said I.
Sure, absolutely.
Patrick,
Goes up on day 23, yeah.
I know. We never had these days.
it's for the interest number 2.
Freedom analysis.
And we would anticipate obviously covering, yeah, that's,
And then and the number 2.
obviously, yes.
I'm the official that I did that.
Yeah.
We need to sign more.
Yeah, okay.
You could.
She's here.
Issue.
Yeah.
Give me a copy, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You guys have anything else?
On the change.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the figures that you're quoting, just, they do not include the sub-costs.
That's
Okay, all right. And that didn't, okay, that wasn't factored in what we had.
correct.
Okay, all right.
Just 43 would it cost the employee salary?
So 10 more days of sun. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Okay, so I'll send in the business this week, time, date, location for June 25th. We'll trying to merge either.
So sorry, you'll hear closing out here. I get a 10-minute conference where we close out. Just to absolutely.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. I need to get all these people to make sure I'm not missing something.
Perfect.
We'll be back in the.
I'll grab you real quick. We're gonna jump in. Bush, we're just gonna go ahead and, set dates for next time, maybe 25th, you have time for that?
So the 25th, so we pulled some calendars. I think we would be good for SJEA in the morning. I think the afternoon to kind of package two teams together then would be tough because there's a FISBIT meeting in the afternoon that day. So we may have to do a separate date for SJEA. So when definitely send me those dates and when those dates we'll package it up. But I would anticipate, 9 a.m. works, if it works for the teams, if it works well for us, we'll try and, my concern right now with the 25th isn't time, it's location, but this room is not available, full with tied up with some training, so we're gonna have to but should have all that to you guys by the business Thursday.
Okay, got that, you don't have to have a second date somewhere down the line further than that.
I could send out second dates, but I would anticipate if we do the 25th, there's dates additional dates in June and early July, so everything right around there. We can send some preliminaries.
We can also host at the SJEA.
Okay, well, let me see, I'll know by the end of the week, this week we want, or we've done it in Sebastian before and so forth, so.
Okay, all right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Audio good?
Audio.